Featuring a special Distinguished Leader series, the C.T. Bauer College of Business at the University of Houston hosted alumnus Marvin Odum, Shell Oil President and Upstream Director for Royal Dutch Shell's subsidiary companies in the Americas, as he presented energy, its future, and the impact on human capital.
One of the key components of my job is actually thinking about where this industry is going in the future. So if you're thinking about the energy business, I think it's probably one of the most exciting times to enter it. The dean mentioned that we had a chance to sit down with a few of the students ahead of time, and one of the things that we were talking about is what's going to happen to energy around the world. And I like to put it in terms of population. So if you think about living today in a world of 7 billion people, it's hard to imagine what 7 billion people really is, but 7 billion today, but by the middle of this century, we'll go to something like 9 billion people. And I was explaining to the group that it's difficult to understand what 9 billion people is, so you need some way to connect to that. So think of a city about the size of San Antonio, somewhere between a million and 1.3 million people, and add a city that size to the world every week for the next 30 years. That's the kind of energy demand growth we're going to see across the globe. So it's a tremendous challenge, first of all, to provide and produce that much energy at an affordable price, but also add in the tension of doing that in a way that's environmentally acceptable, that helps sustain the world in the way that we all want it to be. And just think about the challenges associated with doing that. I think it's one of the things that makes this business so interesting, whether you're an engineer or you're a commercial person, a business person, an environmentalist, somebody that's involved or interested in policy or government. This business touches every one of those aspects. I see a lot of statistics, just being where I am in the business and being part of the Houston community, and my understanding is that something like 1 out of 5 jobs that have been created in the last 6-7 years in the Houston area is directly associated with energy. Mm-hmm. And if you translate that not only to the number of jobs, but then also the economic impact on the Houston area, it's actually higher than that 1/5. So it's a huge impact on the economy here. There's well over 3,500, I know, energy businesses located here. Probably over a third of the energy companies well, 2/3 actually, the energy companies in the U.S. would be located in Houston.
And Houston, of course, is a very international city. Is that helpful in point of being able to get people of different cultures and nationalities?
No, I appreciate you raising that aspect, because it's the supply of people, it's the supply in terms of the right training, but the diversity side, if I could use that word, the diversity side of the human resource supply is important for a couple of reasons. One is that I think we're about as global as a business gets, because I think we're operating in about 120 countries around the world. And if you look at a cross section of Shell, it represents every aspect of humans across the globe. And so being able to work in an environment like that just fundamentally makes diversity important to us. But then also just from a supply standpoint, if we can't access the total human capacity that exists in a place like Houston or in the U.S. or North America, or as you go on out, meaning every age, every background, men, women, every color, we need access to that entire group of human resource and try to get them interested in these type of careers.